Hello everyone and welcome to the Deepbluerenegade podcast. My name is Molly, also known as the Deeply Renegade, and I'd like to welcome you guys to episode 288. Today is Sunday, September 1st, 2019, and I'm glad you could join me today. It's pretty quiet, and I am waiting out the heat of the day. So this seemed to be a pretty good time to record, so yeah, no, not too crazy. Let's see. I'm trying to think of other exciting things, but I've got nothing. So I have my hot coffee. Maybe some regret about that, but whatever. So I think I've reached decision time on my my linen vitamin D. So this is out of Claudia Hand Paints in the Contemplation Lace in the Lone Star colorway. And it's a Heidi Kermeyer pattern, and right now I'm struggling a little bit with the yarn. So what I ended up doing was I knit this sleeve. I saw that this sleeve didn't awkwardly pool and decided to reknit my first sleeve with the same yarn. And interestingly, I swapped the ends. Like I'm not even entirely sure what's going on right now, but apparently I got that very well buried. This is totally the wrong project bag, and have I switched it? No. So, the dealio is, I think I've diagnosed my problem. For some reason, both of these yarns don't have a lot of the darker purple color in them for some reason, or won't for at least a little bit longer. And what this means for me is that it's pooling in the exact same way. Like, I don't know, or at the very least, if it's not the exact same way, it's awfully similar. So I'm contemplating doing a partial rip back, jettisoning one of these partial skeins, and proceeding from there, because apparently the yarn was just a little bit more multicolored in that spot. So if you will recall from whenever the last time I showed this, so there's this pool happening where this green is lining up with this light blue, and then on the other side I have this dark blue and light blue. And what I guess I hadn't realized before was that there was just very little purple in this section. So it's like a perfect storm of the yarn not being quite as variegated, and it being the stitch count that causes pooling. So what that means, at least for me, is that what would it be? Like, I probably need to rip back maybe like an inch or so of what I've done. And what would it be? And then bring in a different part of the ball, because obviously this section of yarn is cursed. That's all I've got. So it's not a crazy amount. I tried to break it up a little bit more because the place where the awkwardness occurred, or the place where it would be most likely to stack pool on this one, just had a lot of purple in it, and so that seemed to break it up a little bit better. And oh man, do I hate magic looping. So I don't think I'm even the part which would start stack pooling yet even. So Yeah, and I definitely missed a decrease, and I was gonna fudge it, but may as well do it right. So that's sort of where I'm at right now, is that I need to figure out which one of my balls has the least amount of purple in it and select something that is going to match that a little bit better. So now I know. And I think I'd be okay with it if it wasn't the sleeve. But I am not okay with it because it is the sleeve. So so I may just end up ripping back to my last successful decrease, or maybe a little bit after that, and go from there. And then I'll figure out which one of my balls is the least purple. I think it's this guy that I'm working from the outside. I think this is my ball 1. So I'll grab my ball 3 and then knit from both ends of my ball 3. And I think that'll turn out to be more of what I was looking for. And then I can incorporate this in wherever I feel like, elsewhere, whatever. I'm planning on using as much of the yarn as possible, so that shouldn't be too crazy. But yeah, no, it was like, it was very frustrating when I realized that it was doing the exact same thing. So I think I just need to pick like a more colorful part of this game, because I am really pleased with how this sleeve turned out. So like, there might be a little bit more than coincidence on this guy, but for the most part, it's good. So you live and you learn. So that's sort of where I am right now. I had not thought to blame the yarn explicitly, and looks like that would have been a valid choice. So in the spirit of when nothing's going your way, do something different, what I have decided to do is actually signed up for the Hohi Fall Cow. It's too late to sign up now. What was it? Which is too bad, but it's like a zoo. I have never participated in a group that big before, but I did have a Hohi pattern that I was planning on knitting anyways, and it does sort of give me a chance to get back to some Zen boring knitting, because the other projects I have on tap are stuffies. So I decided to sign up to knit the V-neck boxy again, and I've pulled out my yarn in the hopes that I feel like winding it today. So I have 2 different yarns that I'm planning to hold doubled. So I have this mohair silk. This is Shibui Silk Cloud, and it is 60% mohair, 40% silk. And then I have this Shibui Pebble, which is 48% recycled silk, 36% merino, and 16% cashmere. And this is the blueprint colorway, and this is Abyss. So Abyss and blueprint. And so what's going to end up happening is that when I knit these guys together, what you're going to see is a dark blue effect. The black and the blue together is going to give it some good shade. So And like this is like super duper gorgeous anyways, so it shouldn't be too crazy. So should be interesting. What it be is going to be a little bit of exciting knitting at the beginning, because of sort of the welts and short rows and all that fun stuff, and then it will be stocking it in the round until victory. And I may end up doing the sleeves early just so that I have a better sense of where the fit's going to be. And maybe by then I will have gone like short circulars to knit it with, who knows. So, like the mohair silk is definitely going to add maybe a little bit more challenge to it because it can be a challenging yarn to frog, but once I think I get into the boring knitting, it should be good to go. And I'm curious sort of how this marled yarn is going to look. So you can see that actually pretty clearly. The blue is maybe a little bit darker than what it's showing up on the screen, but you can't see the texture. So it has a very nice texture, which I think because of the marled thing, I think that's why they called it pebble. It looks to be a 2-ply, so it looks like there's a ply of silk and then a ply of the merino cashmere. Yeah. So it's just, the merino cashmere, I guess, is just a smidge more the weight, based on the fiber content. So, and these are itty bitty skeins. So, so this is actually, a lace weight, so it's gonna be super drapey, but I'm excited about it. So that, I believe, is what's on tap. Coming in the future. So, like, I want to say I'm like project 5021. Like, this is like a ridiculously huge knit along. I don't even know why I'm like compressing this down because I will be winding later, but oh well. So, the other thing that I was working on was actually swatching. And I'm not sure how clearly this is going to end up coming across the screen because we know that my camera can't purple very effectively. But what I'm doing right now is trying to figure out whether or not I like my Ginny the Fleece Spin more as a marl or as separate colors, because I have these 3 colors and I have options on how I can combine them together. I'm just gonna do a quick row right now just to maybe get it a little bit further along. So what I've done is I knit, I don't know what, like 1.5 inches of the marl. So I did a couple of rows of garter and then I launched into like my normal swatch pattern, which has whatever garter on the edges and then stockinette in the middle. What has been interesting about this is that I think the marl shows a little bit better in the garter and the reverse stockinette, which, I don't know, that's cool. Like, some things you only learn by swatching. And I'm trying to figure out whether or not I can see the tonalness that I've managed to make with my chain ply samples. For the real deal, I would likely be doing a traditional 3-ply, or what would be, all the options would be traditional 3-ply, but that chain ply was the easiest way to implement whatever leftovers I had and turn it into a 3-ply. Had I had like storage bobbins and a bobbin winder, I could have done things differently, but I didn't. And I may need to cycle through a couple more of the colors to help figure out what way I want to go. As you do. So, like, I really do suspect that I'll like my little purple guy more separate, but who knows? I won't be able to show you because I can't take it or whatever. Can't get a good fidelity thing of the purple anyways, so. So, like, I've done a couple of rows of my sort of midnighty blue purple colorway that I created and probably can't reproduce. So it'll be interesting. See how everything ends up shaking out. This probably would have been a better project to work while I've been walking around. I have been playing Wizards Unite, and this weekend is exciting because there are dragon eggs. However, it will be, I think, challenging to walk them all out, so whatever. We'll figure something out. Or I need to find, like, the shadiest way possible to wander about. So, you can see the blue, and you can see the marl. But what you can't see is any of the purple in the marl yarn. It's just not coming through at all. Like, even this blue should be, or this blue here should be a little bit more purpley. Bring it all the way in. Yeah. So it's, the marl is pretty subtle. But I'm definitely noticing more of the colors on the wrong side. Or in the cutter. But you guys can't see. I'm trying. Had I known that this purple color was just going to be an absolute nightmare for podcasting, I might have thought differently. Like, check out Instagram. So I'm trying to get a big enough length of the purple to be able to see. It is definitely a very, very gorgeous color, for which the camera cannot quite capture right. So I may, I don't know, I think I got enough of this that I'm getting a pretty good sense of how it's going to turn out. And then what I'll do is I'll do like a stripe of the purple, do a stripe of the teal, and figure out how I want to handle it exactly. And I'm not cutting anything because I figure this will give me a good sense of how things are turning out. It sort of makes me wish that I had done everything in that midnighty blue color. What can we do? Not much. Because I'm really digging it. It's a really cool color. Now, I do know that the 3 colors that I've done aren't high contrast, so that means that if I knit a sweater, it'd have to be like bigger color blocks because they're like so similar to each other. And then there's also the possibility that I could do if you guys are familiar with the like spinning technique for the less is more, that that would be the case where you end up having things slowly transition from color to color, so that creates a gradient of sorts. I'm not sure. It could be interesting. It would probably take a decent amount of plotting to figure out how I was going to implement all of that, but that could be interesting, and that could sort of maybe give me sort of a compromise between those positions. So it'd be the case where I could, and the less is more might be intended for like a 2-ply, so it might be slightly more complicated for a 3. But effectively speaking, what it is that you have, like say for example, you have AAA, and then you go AAB, and then you go BBA, then you go BBB, and then BBC, and BCC, and CCC. So that could be a way of sort of transitioning from maybe having like that, what would it be? Or maybe go from the teal to the midnight to the purple and have sort of this long gradient in order to make that. And then you have all these transitions in there, and then you end up like saving yarn in order to make each one of those transitions go. So that is certainly a possibility, and that would be the case where you wouldn't even need to alternate skeins. You would just have your blocks of slowly transitioning color. It sounds really cool. I don't know. What do you guys think? I might put a poll in the Ravelry group to vote, because I'm probably going to procrastinate for a while on this. You know why? Because I am working on this project. So last week I talked about my cheat fiber. Did I quantify that even? I don't know. My phone is far away, so that makes it harder to cross-reference. So I don't know if it was done or not, but this is a bat that I ended up making an SSK, and I used a combination of fleece from the Woolery and then several different colors of Ashland Bay fiber. So I had a lot of this sky blue, but then I also had black, white, and gray, and then I had some hot pink pops in it, and it turned out like this. So this is a 2-ply in itself. It's like all the way down. Slightly more out. I don't know. It doesn't quite want to focus. Whatever. So I don't know if I have a project page for it. Let's see. I might have made a project page for it. No, I didn't. I don't quite feel like stalking myself on Instagram from my computer. But, I don't know, so I got, have I even counted the yardage on this? I might not have even counted the yardage on this, but I'm pretty sure I did wash it. I don't know. Now I know nothing. Going insane. Not enough sleep. I bet I haven't washed this. It seems awfully curly Q. But it is end a half, because you can see both ties there. So maybe I need to count this still. But yeah, no, I think it turned out really cool. It may be, it's probably, I don't know, it's not like the softest thing ever, but that might have something to do with like the quality of the fiber I put in. I don't like the Ashland Bay colored top as much as I have you. I think this makes me a little gun shy for buying bats from people, because that's how a lot of people do it, because it would be a lot of work to dye and card bats. So like the Ashland Bay, just, I don't know, I just don't think it's as nice. But yeah, so it might, I don't know, it doesn't look over twisted. Like, it turned out to be a pretty consistent little yarn. So the idea probably would be to combine it with something else. I have like another hand spun skein, which is similar sorts of blues and grays. It's sort of more of like a blue-gray white, so it could make like a cool brioche hat or something like that with them, because the other skein is also really small too. So it could be super cute. It was a gift, so it isn't even my hand spun. Oh well. But yeah, like, what did I tell you about this? Like, I started this project. Whatever. So this is in my bin, so I'm no longer cheating. This is some Shetland fiber that I received from someone who was getting out of spinning. So it was dyed cloud, and it was in colors of like yellow, brown, orange, and red, which, as we know, aren't really my typical colors. But I used it as combing practice when I originally got my combs. So I ended up combing whatever, basically this pound of fiber, maybe it was a pound and a half even, and then made all these balls of top. And then what I'm doing now is I'm spinning it, because I really wasn't sure how I was going to approach my fleece spin, and this was already in the bin, so it made it a little bit easier. Oops. Like, we're a little tight here. So this is a warmer color than what I think it's showing up right now. I don't know if it's based on lighting, I don't know, it's in a shadow. It is pretty rich. It's spinning pretty fine. I'm actually spinning it on a very big ratio indeed. But I'm making good yarn, so whatever. I'm pretty sure it's Shetland. And I just weighed what I had here, and I have like 310 grams. So that's why I have a lot of time to wait on the results of like a Ravelry pull, because I have a lot of this stuff. So it's sort of giving the impression of sort of like an auburn. I think auburn would probably be the right color. It's definitely sort of that deeper end of orange. And like, if you look carefully at the fiber, you can see that there are many colors as a part of it, but the process of combing it sort of averaged everything together to sort of create that 8-bit pixely magic. So I feel like I've spun a lot of it because my bobbin's getting fairly full. But obviously I have quite a lot to go, which makes me think that I have a full pound. That might be an easier thing to cross-reference though. Let's see if I can't find my spin the bin list. Oh, that wasn't very helpful to me. Apparently I didn't. So let's see how hard it will be to find my bin. I'm surprised I didn't mark it. such is life. So, I feel like I've been sort of aggressive. Okay. I'm going to favorite this post because then I will be able to find it more easily. And what I ended up doing was I put in all of this fleece in my bin. And I definitely need to update my list. Okay, so I apparently have 12 ounces of this mystery wool. So I may have like barely made a dent in it. Oh well. Such is life. So I definitely need to update this list though, because it is I've definitely spun some stuff since then. In terms of what it weighs, maybe, I don't know. I don't know, unless I'm like spinning all the time, I'm not sure whether or not I can, I'm not sure whether or not I'm gonna make it this year, because like the mojo, or what would it be? I think with all of the other stuff going on, it's been harder to spin. Would it be in sort of being in this place? Like I'm not super duper motivated to hang out. Oh, so I don't know, this might not even be Shetland, this might be, I don't know, I think it's long enough that it is Shetland. So I have quite a lot more to go. But it has been a fairly pleasant spin, even though it isn't my colors. So I'm just gonna fill as many bobbins as I can, and I'll probably end up making a 3-ply with it, and I will decide afterwards if I want to modify it somehow. So I may end up over-dyeing the skeins afterwards. We'll see. But, oh well, such is life. So, that is currently on plan, so it should be better than usual. So I have to laugh a little bit. What was it? On Friday I was like bored and decided that that was going to be the day that I got my hair cut. And then I went to do 2 different places just at the walk-in, and they're like, because it turns out no one wants to cut your hair at 4:40 in the afternoon when they close at 5, which is fair. So I ended up making an appointment for Saturday, and I have significantly less hair now, so so it's a little bit crazy because I went to sleep with it wet today, and I no longer have the beautiful styling that I had when I got it cut, but not looking too shabby. So I'm gonna mail this off, but I just had to laugh by these these little guys here. I was just like, oh my gosh, so much hair gone. And because of all of like the tile floors and the fact that I've been keeping my hairbrush in here, like there's just hair everywhere in this room right now, so it's like, ha ha ha. I need to probably sit down and do a little cleanup in here, because the hairballs are definitely driving me a little bit crazy. I think when you have carpet, like the hair gets trapped and stays there until you vacuum, but when you have like tile floors, like it's just free to rearrange as it wants, and you're like, ah, like what's going on? So it's okay, but I just have to laugh a little bit about it. So I think that is all the stuff that I wanted to cover this week. So I'm swatching for a sweater. I'm not gonna knit right now. I am knitting a sweater that I'm going to rip out an inch of arm on to make it better. And I'm preparing to wind a bunch of yarn for a different sweater, and then I may be spinning for a sweater's quantity of yarn on accident that I will need to make more blue before I'm really happy with it. But it could be a very interesting, I don't know, I'm interested to see how this might turn out, or it may turn out that it makes absolute mud by adding blue, who knows. I know green definitely turn it to mud. I don't know. Maybe if I accentuate the red, it could be interesting. It's possible that if I added blue to this, it would be more burgundy. Which, I don't know if that's really one of my colors, but whatever. Such is life. So, that's where I'm at right now. And then, freedom! So, but a little bit crazy. Or I think I definitely have the flippy-do thing going on, so where it just goes where it wants, and I can't do anything about it right now until I get it wet. But oh well, such is life. So, as it turned out, this week's episode was fairly long. Who knew? Oh, and the mystery spin that I should probably make a project page for. It doesn't count for any challenge, so whatever. So, things are looking good for next week. It might be another Sunday episode. We'll see how things shake out. And with that, I hope you guys have a lovely week, and I look forward to talking to you guys soon. So, take care, guys. Bye-bye.